Hello Blender fans, Xanathan here with another video about Blender, and this time it's about the version 5.0 that was released just a short time ago. And nothing fancy today, I just wanted to show you two new modifiers, which are great in my opinion. The first one is the scatter modifier, scatter on object, and the other one is the array modifier. And what you can do with the scatter modifier you could do in the past only with add-ons, and so that's great. So without further ado, let's start with a mesh. We use a plane and let's make it 20 meters. Okay, and then we go to the modifiers, add modifier, and it's in generate scatter on surface. Okay, you already and immediately see scatter instances, and you can change the density and the amount instead of density. Okay, but what can this do? You can now take any object and put it in the instancing here, and then this object will be scattered onto the parent object. And let's just open an asset browser here, and here I have some grass, and I will pull this into the scene. This takes a moment, most probably because it's on my network attached storage, and there it is. Okay, now we have the grass in there, and we will go back to the plane, and then we can select the grass, or we can just drop down here and select the grass here. And immediately we can see there are instances of the grass on the plane. Okay, let's go to rendered mode and let's change the light from a point light to a sun and make it a little darker. Okay, and maybe let's make it a little brighter. That's too bright. Let's try 5. Okay, so we have grass scattered on the plane. And we go back to the plane and go back to modifiers. And now you can change the density. And there are more things you can do. You can reduce the viewport visibility if your machine is struggling. You can just lower this value so it's all a little more responsive. So okay, and you can transform the object that is scattered. For example, you can scale it. And very important is that you can randomize it. Okay, let's scale it down a little bit again. And if you randomize the Z rotation, for example, let's take 360 in here. Every single one of these grass instances has a different rotation, and so it does not look, they do not look all the same. And also you can, of course, randomize the scale. Now there are bigger and smaller ones. And yeah, that's basically it. Already there are more options. You can mask this with a UV map or with a vertex map. So you can say where the instances are shown and where not. But I think you already can see how useful this is for a lot of things where you want objects scattered on another object. Okay, now let's delete the plane and let's delete the grass since we do not need it anymore. And instead we will add another mesh, and for this demonstration I take a cylinder and let's scale it a little vertically. We do not need too much subdivisions here for this demonstration. Okay, coming from Cinema 4D, I always missed the array object in C4D. That was very versatile and had lots and lots of options, and in Blender the array modifier left a lot to be desired. But this is better now. We again go to the generate, and there's the old array modifier, array legacy, and here is the new array modifier. And immediately you see we have two instances of the original cylinder, and we have new handles here where you can change the instances. And okay, you have different versions of arrays that you can create. This is the line array. The count is 3, and you can make this count as high as you want. Let's change the perspective a little. And lots and lots of cylinders. Let's get back to 3 and change from line to circle. And you have a circle array, but you cannot see anything because the radius is 0. And if we increase this, we see our 3 cylinders. And if we increase the count, we have a nice circle array. And that is really something that I missed in Blender, and I use this all the time for multiple different things in Cinema 4D, and now it is here. I created myself a GeoNode setup to simulate this, but it was not as good as I wanted. And yeah. So we again here have a randomize, and again we can randomize rotation. And nothing happens. And it does something happen. You can randomize things. Let's switch this off again. We also have a curve array. That is, you draw a curve and you can then array along that curve. And what is the transform array? You have an array with multiple transform options. Which is very nice. This was only a short view into the new options in the modifiers that most interesting in my opinion. There are of course lots and lots and lots of new features in Blender 5.0 as you would expect from a major version. But for a first quick look, this was it for today, and I hope you have fun experimenting with Blender 5.0 and all these new features. Have fun and see you next time.